Welcome to today's yoga class. Find a comfortable seated position, sitting up nice and tall. You can sit on a blanket or pillow or up on some blocks if that helps you to sit up taller. Your hands can rest on your knees, palms down for grounding or up for receiving. You can soften your gaze so you're staring into the space a few feet in front of you, or let your eyes close. Begin to let all of your thoughts float to the outer edges of your mind, clearing an open space. Bring your focus onto your mat, into your body, and into your breath. Breathing in and out through your nose. With each inhale, feel the lower part of the ribcage expanding out, front, sides, and back. And with each exhale, that ribcage comes in closer together. Begin to elongate the breaths, counting to 5 or even 6 with each inhale and each exhale. Send your inhales all the way to your toes and your fingers and to the top of your head, filling your whole body with oxygen. And as you exhale, release any tension or tightness or negative emotions that you might be holding on to in any area of your body. Set an intention for yourself for your practice today. Something you hope to work toward or to release. With your next inhale, we'll sweep the arms out and up. Exhaling, bringing the hands to heart center. We're going to switch the legs into fire log pose, stacking the shins right on top of each other. If this is not accessible to you today, the top leg can simply be right in front of the other. We're going to take the fingers and clasp the hands, turning the palms forward and raising the arms overhead. Keep the lower part of the ribs tucked in so the work comes from the arms. Keep the shoulder blades lowered away from the ears. Gently release the hands out to a Y position. We're going to turn on your exhale, squeezing the core, dropping the right hand, reaching up through the left. Keep focusing on that deep breath into the lower part of the rib cage. Gently release to the front, arms up to the Y position. With your next exhale, again, squeeze the core, dropping the left arm down, reaching up through the right hand. Returning gently to center. We'll let the arms float down, clasping your hands behind you. Opening the chest as we lift the arms away from the backside, letting the chin tilt up. Letting the chest come forward over the legs, lift the arms higher. With your next inhale, we'll lift up through the chest, releasing the arms. Switch the feet, stacking the opposite leg on top or in front. We'll again clasp the fingers, bringing the opposite pointer finger on top. So it may feel a little different. We usually always clasp with the same hand on top. We'll turn those palms forward, taking the arms up overhead. Keeping the shoulders down and the ribs tucked in, only pulling back with the hands. Keep breathing into the lower rib cage, keeping the core activated, supporting your low back as you sit up tall, relaxing through the neck. Gently release the arms out to a Y. This time we'll lower the left hand first as we exhale into our twist, reaching up through the right hand. Gently return to center. With your next exhale, we'll twist, letting the right hand come down, reaching up and back with the left hand. Gently return to center, letting the arms come down behind you, clasping the hands, again with that opposite pointer finger on top, lifting through the chest as you pull the arms away from the body. And then leaning forward over the legs, bringing the arms up. With your next inhale, let the chest lift you up. Release the arms as we come onto hands and knees. Lining your shoulders over the crease of your wrists, hips over the knees. With your next inhale, drop the belly down, squeezing the shoulder blades down and back as you lift the chin and tailbone. Exhale, round the back up, squeezing the front ribs. With your next inhale, coming down into cow, arching the back. Exhale, squeeze up into cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Coming into neutral spine. We'll let the right leg come out like a kickstand as we open up to the left. Reaching up through the top arm, lifting the hips. Plant your left foot. We're going to use the core as we lift up and come into a side bend, letting the arm slide down the leg, reaching up, stretching from the knee to the pinky finger. Gently release back down into that side plank. Looking up at your thumb if that's comfortable for your neck. Lifting up again. Using that core strength, coming all the way into that side bend. Lowering again into the side plank. This time we'll open the chest, looking up at the ceiling, reaching up through the chest, letting the shoulder blades come towards the chest from behind. Gently release everything back down into tabletop. This time we'll let the left leg come out to the side as we open up to the right, planting the foot. Using the core strength to lift us up, we'll let the arm slide down the leg as we come into our side stretch. Gently lowering down into the side plank, reaching up through the fingers, gazing at the thumb if the neck allows. Remembering to breathe, using the core, lifting up, sliding down, side bend. Slowly lowering back down into the side plank. We'll open the chest, pressing forward with the shoulder blades. Keeping the tailbone reaching long for your extended leg. And slowly coming back into tabletop. We'll walk the hands forward into puppy pose, keeping the wrists lifted and the arms active as we open the shoulders toward the floor. You might rest your head on the floor. Keep your tummy engaged as you reach back through your tailbone. Let your shoulders come away from your ears and wrap around the armpits. Slowly lifting the head, we'll bring the right arm through, threading the needle, reaching as far as you can, then resting your shoulder and head down. Keep reaching back with the tailbone. Keep breathing. Slowly coming back into center. We'll twist, threading the needle through with the left side. Coming into center, releasing into puppy, and walking your hands back up. And we'll bring the toes together, pressing your hips onto your heels, resting the forehead down for child's pose. And slowly lift up on your next inhale, bringing the feet back out to hip distance, letting your hands come in front of your shoulders, curling your toes under, lifting the hips up and back into downward facing dog. You can bicycle your heels a few times, warming up the backs of the legs, even as you're lifting your hips up high and opening the shoulders, just like we did in our puppy pose. The head is hanging free, gazing back between your feet or your knees. When you're ready, pressing both heels down, driving back through the thighs and through the chest. Slowly walk your feet forward, coming into a bent leg forward fold, tucking the chin, releasing all tension, letting the low back fall from the hips. Adding extra bend in the knees, we'll slowly roll up to standing. Rolling the shoulders up, back and down into mountain pose. Reaching up with the crown of the head, letting the chin tuck in slightly. With your next inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive into a forward fold, tucking the chin. You can add bend in your knees if you'd like. With your next inhale, find a half lift, reaching forward with the chest and the head, backward with the tailbone, keeping the core engaged and the shoulders coming back towards the spine to open through the collarbones. Gently release down, and with your next inhale, reverse swan dive to standing. Exhale through heart center, back to mountain pose. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, reverse swan dive to standing. Exhale to mountain. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, down. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale to mountain. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive into forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, bring the hands down. Step the right foot back. Pivot and drop the back heel. Inhaling up into warrior one. Keep both hips facing forward, shoulders relax down, fingers and chest reaching up. Tailbone is releasing down towards the earth as you lean into your left thigh. Pull the inner thighs toward each other to keep the hip points forward. Gently straighten the front leg, hinging at the hip, releasing your arms down. You can have hands come to blocks or all the way down, or maybe onto a knee or a shin. But reach out with that chest. Keep the body long. Keep breathing. Leading up with the chest on an inhale, we'll come up to standing, bending back to warrior one. Releasing your hands, straightening your back foot and lowering the knee down, uncurling the toe into low lunge. Planting the right hand will open up to the left side, gazing up at your fingers if you can, keeping the gaze neutral if gazing up is too much for your neck. Let your hips sink down and the chest reach forward as the tailbone reaches back. Gently release the hand to the ground, curling the toes under. We'll step back to downward facing dog. With your next exhale, take the right foot forward between the hands, pivot and drop the left heel, inhaling up to warrior one, sinking into the front thigh, letting the tailbone reach down, pulling the inner thighs toward each other to turn the hip points straight forward. Press into the pinky toe edge of your back foot, even as you reach up with the fingers. Keep the shoulders down. Gently straighten your front leg, hinging at the hip, keeping the spine long. Coming down, reaching out with the chest. Again, you can have two blocks under your hands. And slowly reach forward and up, bending into the front leg for warrior one. Releasing your hands, straightening the back foot, let the knee come down, uncurl the toes into low lunge, letting the hips sink down. Planting the left hand, open with the right. Keep the shoulders away from the ears as the chest reaches forward. The tailbone reaches back. Your gaze is up or neutral, wherever your neck feels most comfortable. Gently lower the hands down, curling the back toe under. We'll keep the gaze forward as we step up. With an inhale, find your half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse one back to standing. Exhaling to mountain pose. With your next inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive into forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release your hands, this time stepping the left foot back. Pivot and drop the heel, inhaling up to warrior one. Pressing into the outer edge of the back foot, letting the thighs sink down, hips pull towards the front. We're going to come into warrior three, a balance on one leg. The full expression will be to bound forward, strengthening the leg, hinging, reaching out through a pointed or a flexed foot, through the fingers. If that is not going to be accessible for you today, you can start to walk that back foot in, straighten the front leg, and then just tilt on the hip. So you're a straight line from your back foot to your fingertips, hinging only at your hip. If you need to just keep that back toe down for balance, you sure can do that as well. But finding wherever you're comfortable, holding into that warrior three, keeping your hip lower down. Gently release, coming all the way back into warrior one. Releasing your hands, we'll step back into downward facing dog. This time we'll step the left foot forward, pivot and drop the right heel, inhaling warrior one. And when you're ready, finding your way into your version of warrior three. Coming right forward or stepping that foot in and tipping. Keep the hips lowered so the sacrum is flat. Keep your standing kneecap pulling up so the leg stays strong. Slowly lower back into warrior one. Releasing your hands down, we'll straighten the back foot. Keep the gaze forward as we step up. Release to forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, reverse swan dive to standing. Exhaling to mountain pose. Opening to the side, we're coming to a wide stance. Keeping the toes forward or slightly in so the feet are parallel with the edge of your mat. Reaching up tall through the chest, we'll inhale, sweeping the arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive into a forward fold. If you have extra room here, you can walk your hands back between your feet. But keep your weight shifted forward into your toes and the chest reaching away from your tailbone. Gently walk your hands back out to the center. Take your right hand slightly more towards the center as you open the left side, revolving. Gazing up at your hand if you're able, or keeping the gaze neutral. Trying to keep your hips even, rotating only from the mid-back. Keep your head reaching out long away from the spine. Gently lower your arm, taking the left hand more to the center as you open to the right. Again, length through the spine, tailbone back, head forward, shoulders away from your ears. Using your core and your back for the twist. Gently release both hands down, coming again into forward fold. Walking your hands forward will slowly come to standing by first taking your gaze up, then your hands to your hips, and slowly standing the rest of the way. We're going to turn on the right heel so the foot is out 90 degrees, and the left heel so the foot's at 45 degrees. Bend into the right knee, keeping the hips open to the side as you raise your arms and look out over your front hand for warrior two. Let the shoulders roll up, back, and down. Reach out through your fingertips to engage the arms. Find that press into the heel or the pinky toe edge of your back foot as you let the front thigh weigh you down. Turning the palm up, we'll reach back into reverse warrior. Keeping the chest lifting so there's just a light touch on the back leg. We'll slowly release the hands, clasping your fingers behind you as we hinge forward, lifting the arms up for humble warrior. With your next inhale, let the chest lift you up. Releasing the arms back into warrior two. Tip into the right fingertips.
Bringing your elbow to your thighs, you reach the arm up and over. Extended side angle. Using the arm, we'll lift back up into warrior two, straightening the leg, turning on your heels, switching the feet, bending the front leg, coming into warrior two. Keeping the shoulders set back, arms strengthened by reaching out through the fingertips, pulling the muscles up to the bones. Pressing into the outer edge of the back heel. Flipping the front palm, we'll lean back into reverse warrior. Reaching up with the chest, light touch only on the back arm. Slowly coming forward, we'll clasp the opposite fingers on top, reaching forward at the chest, lifting the arms. Slowly rising up with the chest. We'll release the arms back into warrior two, tipping into the left hand, elbow to thigh, arm up over your ear, extended side angle. Slowly lifting back up into warrior two, we'll straighten the leg. Bringing both feet forward again, sweeping the arms up. Exhale into a forward fold. Walking your hands backward as you're able, keeping the weight forward in your toes. Slowly walk the hands forward, taking the gaze up, hands to hips, standing the rest of the way. We're going to step the feet back together at the front edge of your mat into mountain pose. Your next inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive to forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands down. Walk your feet back into downward facing dog. Lifting the right leg, we'll bring your knee up to the right wrist, toes up towards the left wrist. Taking the back knee down and extending the leg out. First, sitting up tall, letting the hips sink down. And when you're ready, walking your hands forward, extending them all the way, forehead to the floor. Or you can stack your arms or your fists under your forehead, wherever it's comfortable for you to rest. If your hips aren't all the way to the floor, maybe a pillow or a blanket underneath of your right hip to lift and keep the hips even, or even under both hips to support both of them if you're a little higher up off the ground as well. We want to be able to relax into our pigeon. Slowly bringing the hands back up. We'll curl the back toes under, lifting hips, stepping back, downward facing dog. We'll take the left knee up to the left wrist, toes to the right wrist, letting the back leg come down and scoot out, finding that comfortable spot, letting your hips sink evenly toward the ground. When you're ready, walking the hands either all the way out or bringing the arms under the head. Slowly rise back up onto the hands and shift up and back into downward facing dog. Slowly shifting forward, lower the knees down, letting your hips fall to one side. So we bring both legs extending straight out in front. Hands by your hips, lifting your chest, shoulders roll down and back. Reach out through your heels. Press your hands into the floor. If your arms are long enough, maybe your hips lift a little. If they're a little shorter like mine, maybe some blocks or blankets under the hands to help you press more firmly into the ground. Keep your shoulders stacked right over your hips. With your next inhale, we'll sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, reaching with the chest and the fingers forward over the feet. And when you can't reach any further forward, release down, tucking the chin, letting the crown of the head reach further. With each inhale, extend the spine longer. Exhale, release down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. With your next inhale, reach the fingertips forward and up, letting the arms float down to the sides. We're going to come into legs up the wall. So if you need to move your mat or just find a different space, we're going to lie on your side with your bottom close to or against the wall. If you have tighter hamstrings, leaving a little space will help. Roll onto your back, bringing your knees into your chest, and extend the legs up, letting the arms come out to the side. Try to relax your legs, letting the weight fall into your hips. You can close your eyes or keep your gaze soft. Slowly bring your knees down into your chest. We're going to roll again onto your side as you adjust, coming back onto your mat, hips centered. Rolling down. Pulling the knees into the chest again. Letting them rock side to side or make circles. Circling in both directions. Then letting the left foot come down and extend out. We'll open your arms like a T to your sides, letting your right knee fall across as you look over the right shoulder. Gently pull everything back to center. Placing the right foot down and extending it out. Bringing the left knee in, letting it fall across as you look over your left shoulder. Gently pulling everything into center. Place the left foot down and extend it out. Bringing your arms in, closer to your sides. Palms up for receiving or down for grounding. As you close your eyes, bringing your focus back into your breath. Letting the breath be easy and gentle. Keeping your mind clear of all distractions. If any thoughts come to the front of your mind, simply acknowledge that thought and allow it to float away. Again, breathe oxygen into the whole body, exhaling away any tension, letting your body melt into your mat. Slowly begin to bring yourself back by wiggling fingers, toes, wrists, ankles. When you're ready, you can roll onto your side. Using the strength in your arms, press yourself up into a seated position. Keeping your eyes closed or your gaze soft. Sitting up tall. Recall the intention you set at the beginning of your practice. And set a new intention for yourself. You'll take what you've done in this class with you for the rest of the day and even beyond. With your next inhale, we'll sweep the arms out and up. Exhaling, the hands to heart center. Namaste.